On the Sunday's episode of The Equalizer, the team tackles a crime that many are experiencing across the country, especially here in New York. Let's take a look at a scene from the episode that tackles the issue of hate crimes against Asians.
I was with my mom once when I was little, and we were at the supermarket, and this guy just walked up to her and spat at her. He got so close to us, I could smell his cologne. And she did nothing. She didn't react. And in that moment, I realized she had to do that to survive, to protect us, because we were alone. I mean, we were in a room full of people, but nobody did anything. Nobody stood up for us. Nobody helped her. We were alone. And I decided right there, I'm never gonna be like those people in the supermarket. I'm never gonna be the one who doesn't say something.
Joining me now is Liza Lapira, who plays Mel on the show. Lisa, it's so nice to meet you. I've been watching you for years. You've done so many things.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, even if it's long distance.
Right.
Let's talk about this next episode. What is it about?
It centers around a hate crime that happens in Chinatown. Of course, it's unsolved. And not only is it unsolved, but the media and the police aren't naming it a hate crime. They're not calling it what it is. So someone goes to the Equalizer, Ron McCall, to both solve it and get it on the record that it was in fact a hate crime.
I think a lot of people are going to relate to that. I understand that you collaborated with writers and some of your personal stories made it into the show.
I did. I was invited to the table early on. They approached me before anything was written. They approached me when it was just an idea on the board and checked in with my comfort level with it, because it was and still is going on. And they checked in with my comfort level about talking to the writers. And then months later, when it was about to be written, I had several conversations with the brilliant writer, Zoe Robin, and I shared a ton of personal stories. You know, some made it in as a version, you know, because obviously she did a ton of research, and obviously there are copious amounts of stories in the news. And so all that melded together and brought a lot of authenticity into this script.
No, definitely in the news, we're doing stories on this so much more than we have in the past. And personally, I know I'm much more wary when I'm on the street, you know, just really checking who's around you. Could you share what your experience has been?
You know, in the beginning, they were attacking our elderly, which was especially egregious and disconcerting. And so how it affected me the most was making sure my elderly relatives were okay. You know, the most heartbreaking thing of it all is they were giving out whistles as a project down in Chinatown. You know, I love, side note, I love how the community rallied to protect our elderly, and then, you know, and of course allyship. But the most heartbreaking part of it all was I was trying to give my mom, you know, mace or like a weapon or like something, and she was like, "No, I'll take the whistle." And I had to say to her, "They won't help you," because that video had just come out where a woman was just savagely beaten in the street and a door was literally closed. And yeah, I mean, it's very dark. Yeah. And very dark, like darkly. I ended up laughing about it later. It's darkly comic that I'm screaming at a, you know, this lovely, beautiful World War II survivor. They're not going to help you. They're not going to help you. No. You need to have this weapon and protect yourself. You know, that's not where I am now. Emotionally, I feel a little safer, whether that's warranted or not. Maybe because they're coming for the younger generations now too. But that was a very devastating moment at the top of it. And
well, I'm so glad that you are going to cover this subject in the next episode. Lisa, you're from Queens, so this is like coming back home. I know you usually live in LA, but The Equalizers is mostly shot in New York and New Jersey. What's it like to be back?
It is such a joy. This whole thing has been the highlight of my career. I get to work with Queen Latifah and the people I work with, writers that I work with, and I get to shoot at iconic locations, like locations that as a kid I would pass by and be like, wow, I wonder what it's like to be there. And now I'm, you know, shooting a fight scene in front of the Empire State Building. It's beyond my imagination. I think 12-year-old me would have been like, if we told her, she'd be like, I don't even understand what you're saying.
Well, you're so fun on the show because you're such a strong female character, as many in the show are, and I love that. You're shooting, you're jumping all over the place. Lisa, so nice to talk to you. I really look forward to seeing the latest show on Sunday.
It was great to talk to you. Thank you.
And you can watch The Equalizer on Sundays at 8 o'clock.